Lana Del Rey,
you need a publicist.
What's good, guys? It is Alissa and welcome back to my channel. As you can see by the title today, I will be discussing Lana Del Rey in her most recent debacle, which originated on Instagram but followed suit to Twitter because, you know, she addressed a few people and we had to keep the snowball rolling. First things first, if you're liking what you're seeing so far, go ahead and give this video a big thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you still enjoyed it by the end of the video. Now, this is a segment in my channel that I've been wanting to introduce for at least a few months now. The first person in this segment that I was going to talk about was going to be Summer Walker. And I just kept putting it off. But I was like, you know what? Right now is the perfect time for me to start this segment, which is called You Need a Publicist, okay? Because for some reason, I'm pretty sure this has been going on forever, but celebrities and public figures for some reason don't have some type of PR team or, you know, some type of person that tells them, no, don't do this. This is going to be really harmful to your career. And they just do whatever they want. So I believe that this segment, You Need a Publicist, would be my way of telling these people that they need a publicist and they need some type of PR team, okay? Because my conclusion is that maybe this is a part of some type of PR ploy or to get these people's names out there, even with the risk of them losing their reputation, their careers, and completely ending it from there. But I think that it's a big risk, but not really, because as we know, cancel culture only affects those who don't have anything. And Lana Del Rey's audience is pretty huge, just like most of these huge celebrities who aren't going to go anywhere, because there will continue to be people that will support them. So in that aspect, I think cancel culture is not real, because I think the people behind them, if they actually do have a PR team, know that they're not going anywhere because the money and the streams are still rolling in if they're in the music side of this, you know? But that's just my thoughts. Let's get straight into this Lana Del Rey topic, all right? So last night, as you guys know, I'm an episode writer on the app, and so I get done middle of the night. That mess takes forever, so I'm writing. I'm like, all right, let me lay down, let me go to sleep. But, you know, not really, I'm not going to sleep, I'm checking Twitter. So I check Twitter, and Lana Del Rey is trending. Now I'm like, why the heck is Lana Del Rey trending in the middle of the night? I've been up for a pretty long time. That would be very, like, it's really weird for somebody to be trending in the middle of the night unless they pass. So like PTSD, coronavirus, people have been passing very unexpectedly. So I'm like, oh God, because I am a Lana Del Rey fan. I literally begged my friend when I went to Camp Flog Gnaw in 2017 to push our way to the front of the stage to see her, because I'm a huge fan of Lana Del Rey. Now, granted, I haven't listened to her most recent albums. The last album that I stopped at was Honeymoon, and that is the last Lana Del Rey album that I've listened to, because I didn't really like Honeymoon, and, you know, but I do enjoy her her old work, right? So I'm like, oh God, why is Lana Del Rey trending? And apparently she puts out this statement, which I will put right here if you have not already seen it, because you're probably here because you have seen the statement and you've been seeing what's going on, because this happened last night, I believe. 2 nights ago. This happened 2 nights ago, okay? I had a long day yesterday. But yes, so let's start from the beginning of this statement. Now, as I said, I am a Lana Del Rey fan. I'm a fan of her music, okay? Let's start there, all right? Let's start there. I'm a fan of her music because I enjoy her music because she's a great writer and she's a great storyteller. And like, I listen to whatever music speaks to me. It's one of the reasons why I love Frank Ocean, because he's a great writer and he's a great storyteller. And as I said before, I'm a writer, so I more so click with people that have, like, their pen game is on point. Like, I really do love lyrics, even in rap. Like, I like wordplay and I like things like that, and those are things that I look for. It's also why I like Meg Thee Stallion right now. Like, Meg is really hot right now, but I really do love her artistry and her lyricalism. We're gonna use that word because I'm listening. Like, it's music, I'm listening. And it's also the reason why I love, like, a lot of people say like Love Drought isn't their favorite song on Lemonade, but I love Love Drought because there was a video, I guess, of the writer that actually wrote the song, and she actually explained that that song isn't about what Beyonce made the song about, and that the song is literally about the person that wrote the song and her relationship to music. So that every time I listen to that song, I think of that. And just the beautifulness of how Beyonce actually made it seem like she was talking about love, like her husband and all that, but really the music is about the writer's relationship to music. Like, it's nuts. But yeah, I'm a person that loves writing and the art of writing. So that's why I love Lana Del Rey's music. Let's be very specific, because this statement was very tone deaf that she put out, and there's literally no other way to put it. And I have a couple points that I want to make in regards to this statement. So I'm gonna just break it down into each piece, and we're just gonna start from the beginning because that's literally the easiest way that I can go through this. So she says, question for the culture. Now that Doja Cat, Ariana Grande, Camila Cabello, Cardi B, 𝘀𝗀, Nicki Minaj, and Beyonce have had number ones with songs about being sexy, wearing no clothes, effing, cheating, etc. Can I please go back to singing about the embodied feeling? Okay, can I go back to singing about being embodied, feeling beautiful by being in love, even if the relationship is not perfect, or dancing for money, or whatever I want without being crucified, or saying that I'm glamorizing abuse? Question mark, question mark, question mark, question. Like, okay. And my answer to that is yes, you can do that, because, I mean, is that not what Meg Thee Stallion has been fighting for as well? Like, she just now got her number one. She's new right now, or she's just now getting her accolades at the moment, even though she's like a hot new artist, and she's also fighting for stuff like that. Not only that, but like, does she feel like she's the first person to be under scrutiny for making music about sex? Like, let's think about this. So she's not, like, that. The answer is that she's not, okay? And all the women that she actually listed on this list have literally faced scrutiny for stuff like this. Now let's go over the names. We have Doja Cat. I can't really give any examples of Doja Cat, but the crazy thing is, right now as I'm making this video, Doja Cat is actually under fire for reasons that I will probably go into later. Ariana Grande, can we just talk about how Ariana Grande literally had to transform? And I'm gonna call this, I've seen this before, but the can't be tamed phase that Miley Cyrus had to also go through. Not only that, she also has a collab with Miley and Ariana Grande. Can we talk about how Miley Cyrus had to go through hell just to get to the point where she is now? Because she literally was under fire for the same scrutiny that you're claiming to be under fire with. Not sure if Miley Cyrus has a number one, but Miley Cyrus, if you are in my era, you know what I'm talking about. Miley Cyrus did not have it easy at all. But also Ariana Grande, like, she had to go through her little Can Be Tamed phase and switch her music to stuff that actually fit the age group that she is at, the current age that she's at. Like, we were, you know, Put Your Hearts Up type stuff like that, to now we have songs like Sweetener. Her whole bodies of work are more mature now, because she's like 20 something. Like she has to fight for stuff like that because people saw her as some type of person to look up to, a role model to their kids. So it's like, well, I'm a role model to kids, but you know, also there's people that, like, I'm not a kid anymore, so I have to transform my music into something more mature because I'm not a kid anymore and I don't want to sing about putting your hearts up anymore, okay? We have Camila Cabello. I'm not going to talk too much about that, but I believe Havana went number one, and I think that that's Camila's only number one. I don't know if Havana went number one, but what was that song with Shawn Mendes? Literally have no idea. Never listened to it, only listened to it when they were performing. Cardi B. I don't even know where to start with her naming Cardi B and then going on to later making the points that she made in this very same paragraph. And in the rest of this essay, this is like an advanced notes apology, but it's not even an apology. It's like a Microsoft Word statement. And I like that she stuck to the aesthetic that she has throughout her whole career by making this more like a old school type letter by using this typewriter font. But Cardi B, are you kidding me? Do you know how much Cardi B even still goes through now. She coined the term "a hoe never gets cold," and the men, even the internalized misogynist women, were on her head. Even now, people hate Cardi B even now, just for the fact that she glamorized the things that you listed off. 𝘀�☰ literally just now had her biggest album release. 𝘀�☰, I feel like 𝘀�☰ is more like the streets eat her music up, you know? Like, everybody knows, I'm not gonna say everybody, but a lot of people, majority of people know who 𝘀�☰ is, but she hasn't had her big debut yet. And her most recent album has been her biggest debut, so she's just now hitting that mark of being a household name, you know what I mean? So to me, it makes it seem like Lana Del Rey is like keeping tabs on like the Billboard, which I'm gonna get into later because I feel like that has something to do with this as well. But she's keeping tabs on all these girls. Like, what are you keeping tabs on all these girls for? She also goes on to name Nicki Minaj. Nicki Minaj was the only woman rapper in her time that was extremely mainstream, that was talking about the things that you've listed further in this essay, and faced extreme scrutiny, literally extreme scrutiny. Mostly in her recent years, she's tried to like stray past that and like kind of backtrack, you know. I'll get into that another time maybe. But Nicki Minaj, are you serious? Like, Nicki Minaj, you know what? She also goes to name Beyonce. Is she serious? Like, same thing that I was talking about with Miley Cyrus and Ariana Grande. Beyonce was looked up at as a role model. She literally has a whole song about male approval with Destiny's Child, which tells me that men were behind the music at that time. Beyonce had to stray away from being that role model type girl and making music about what she wanted to make music about, hence grown woman. Like, Beyonce's self-titled album was literally her Can't Be Tamed era of saying, hey, I'm gonna break out of this mold that you guys are trying to put me in. And to go a step further with that, with being a black woman, she released Lemonade. So she had to take it a step further with saying, guys, I'm not this Destiny's Child girl that you guys are putting me as. I mean, B-Day still had those elements, like, but there were more subliminal wordplay type songs. But Beyonce had to break out of that as well. And Beyonce never, like, Beyonce's name is brought up for no reason in conversation because Beyonce is the bar, okay? So Lana Del Rey, I can see why you brought Beyonce up, because Beyonce is the bar. So I mean, I can't go too much further into that because that just is what it is. But girl, you're not the only one in this fight that like you're talking about. If you wanted to discuss this, you could have just discussed this and made this about all women. You see what, like, why are you narrowing this down to just you? I don't get it. Okay, enough of that first paragraph, maybe. So let's move on to the next paragraph. She says, I'm fed up with female writers and alt singers saying that I glamorize abuse when in reality, I'm just a glamorous person singing about the realities of what we are all now seeing are very prevalent emotionally abusive relationships all over the world. With all of those topics, women are finally allowed to explore. I just want, the grammar here is very run-on. It's gonna be very run-on sentence, okay? Run-on paragraph. I just want to say, over the last 10 years, I think it's pathetic that my minor lyrical exploration detailing my sometimes submissive or passive roles in any relationship has often made people say I set women back hundreds of years. Yes, the stuff that she sings about is the reality for a lot of women. And as she said, this is her reality. So nobody can take that away from her. However, the fact that she's going to the lengths that she's going to make it seem like what she does is not that serious when it can just be what it is. You get what I'm saying? Like, she's going to the lengths to say my minor lyrical exploration detailing my sometimes okay, we're just gonna stop there. My minor lyrical exploration. Like I said, I like Lana Del Rey's music because she tells stories. How is that minor lyrical exploration? She, as people have stated, her song 𝘀𝗀, like literally I can name all Ultraviolet's Born to Die, Honey, like I can name those songs back to back. Literally none of those songs, look, I was listening to those songs in high school. I would say 9th grade, 10th grade, or when some of those albums came out. None of those songs I could listen to with my mom in the room. None of them. None of them, okay? She has a song called Lolita. I love Lolita, okay? But if you know what a Lolita is, it's like, you can't really play that in any setting because it's kind of a taboo subject. And I'm not saying that people can't make music about whatever they want to make music about, but if I can't listen to it around my mom, I just can't listen to it around my mom because it's not minor lyrical exploration, it's explicit. That's just the bottom line of it. You make explicit music, whether, I mean, it's not rap music, and maybe you think that your alternative style of music should be more accepted, but not everybody listens to alternative type music. Like I said, all right? Okay, so let's continue on, all right? So she says, let this be clear. I'm not a feminist. We stop there. Women don't get anything from not being a feminist, and that's all I have to say about that part. But there has to be a place in feminism. Let me stop there. What is the definition of feminism? Let's go ahead and just do that. The advocacy of women's rights on the basis of the equality of the sexes. Just off of that statement alone, that's kind of surface level, just equality between men and women. Obviously not, you know, a hierarchy or a patriarchy, or maybe that's the word I'm looking for, but equality of the sexes. But also another, and you guys know I say bubble map, but I think I'm thinking of like the tier chart, maybe. Let's say it's a staircase, all right? A staircase. Down at the top you have feminism. So you take a few steps down. Why would there not be a space in feminism for you to talk about stuff like this when this is a lot of women's experiences? It's not just equality of the sexes, it's equality for all women in all experiences. Now, granted, what this situation has brought to my attention is, it kind of just reminds me that Lana Del Rey is a cis hetero white woman, okay? And I don't think that's, and I think sometimes I forget that. And you know, as a Black woman, that most things that white women and white people don't understand is that you can't just let your guard down sometimes when it comes to white people, because they do stuff like this. And the reason why this narrows down to race is because of this list that she made. Doja Cat, Cardi B, 𝘀𝗀, Nicki Minaj, and Beyonce. Okay, she's mentioned Ariana Grande and Camila Cabello. Camila Cabello is a person of color, white person of color. Ariana Grande does not make pop style music. Ariana Grande, since her first album, has always made R&B style music. R&B is predominantly a Black genre of music. People oftentimes link Ariana Grande with Black culture. I won't get too into that, but that's what it's giving me. But not only that, Ariana Grande is a chart topper. Her fans, the Arianators, will literally go toe to toe with you and get her #1. Can't say that too much about Lana Del Rey fans, because all they do is pat you on your head and rub your feet when you make posts like this, instead of just saying what it is. Now, there are toxic parts of every fandom. I would not get into that. But yes, there is room in feminism for this already, so you're not fighting for anything. That's my problem, is that you're not fighting for anything right now. Like, you're just This whole thing, she could have just been like, I'm just saying. She could have left out that entire first paragraph and just gave her own personal experience instead of trying to make this some type of fight that's already been fought and that already has a lane that's has been paved, if that makes sense. So she says, the kind of woman who says no, but men hear yes. The kind of women who are slated mercilessly for being their authentic, delicate selves. The kind of women who get their own stories and voices taken away from them by stronger women or by men who hate women. I don't really know how to break this part of the essay down. Maybe, I'm not gonna say maybe, this is her reality, I guess, but is she trying to paint the picture that she is like a vulnerable woman? Like she doesn't have a voice for herself? Because she does, because of this essay, as you can see. Stronger women, the fact that she listed the women in the beginning of this essay and then is trying to paint herself as a delicate, weaker woman because she says taken away from by stronger women or by men who hate women. This is a lot to dissect. I wish she would have kept this to herself and kept this in her Google Doc, but I mean, I'm not really sure what fight she's trying to fight here because that fight is already being fought and she can just be an ally. Okay, let's continue. I've been honest and optimistic about the challenging relationships I've had. Newsflash, I think this part is where I kind of lost it because it was very white woman of her to say newsflash. That's all I'm going to say about that. That's just how it is for many women. Okay, so that kind of clears it up for the previous statement that I just talked about. And that was sadly my experience up until the point that those records were made. So I just want to say it has been a long 10 years. So my thing is 10 years ago, Nicki Minaj has also been in the game for 10 plus years. And every single one of those years, Nicki Minaj has faced scrutiny. Every single one of those years, Nicki Minaj has faced scrutiny. So was she just like blind to Nicki Minaj and just like covering her eyes to this? Because Nicki Minaj has literally faced scrutiny for all 10 years of her career and has been on top. Okay, so let's continue on. So it says, where did I stop? It has been a long 10 years of bull BS reviews up until recently, and I've learned a lot from them. But I also feel it really paved the way for other women to stop putting on happy faces and just be able to say whatever the hell they wanted to in their music. Okay, wait. Okay. I had a point to make and then my laptop has been completely tripping, so I had to move over to my computer. So I'm in a whole different spot. But anyway, okay, basically she feels like she's paved the way for people to be able to talk about this in their music, and I would like to say that is false. That is very much false. Again, I love her music. Like this is kind of the sad part to me, is that you really do have to separate the art from the artist. And it's reasons like this, because as a Black woman, unfortunately, we cannot just stand people without the Carfax. You know what I mean? Because it's like, okay, I can listen to their music, but unfortunately you have to like kind of listen to their music in private, because you don't want to be too outwardly like, yeah, because they do stuff like this. And it sucks, because this is definitely a very personal, that's not the word that I'm looking for, but a very subcategory part of standing is the Black stand. Because if you stand non-Black people, for some reason there's always anti-Black microaggression things that come up either in the future or from the past. And it sucks that we can't just be outwardly and stand people because of stuff like this. But she has not paved the way for women to be able to talk about music like this, because I mean, like, are we just gonna ignore, speaking from my own personal Black experience, the women that have been making music about their very, oh my God, what is the word I'm looking for? I'm gonna say personalized, but their own personal experience as a Black woman and what Black women face, and that music has got them through so much. And I'm like, specifically, I can just specifically be talking about 90s R&B. Like, girl, you have not paved the way for anybody. I mean, as you said, people that look like you, maybe you're speaking about people that look like you and making music. She didn't pave the way, okay? And if she's talking about the last 10 years, how about we go back 20 years? And you guys can pull up some people that you know that you feel like have been making music about the stuff that she makes music about from 15 years ago. But yeah, she hasn't paved the way, definitely not. The ego of this all is tripping me out, okay? So let's continue. She says, but also, that's not where I stopped. She says, unlike my experience, where if I even expressed a note of madness in my first 2 records, I was deemed literally hysterical, as though it was literally the 1920s. Okay, we're gonna move past that. But not only that, okay? She doesn't just talk about, in her music, she doesn't just talk about experiences as being a woman and what women face against men and stronger women, or men who just hate women. She very much talks about drug use heavily in her music. Again, that is also some people's realities as well, but you talk about a lot of stuff that's very explicit and that not everyone can listen to in your music, which is why I think, I mean, the whole album of Born to Die is like that. But we had Summertime Sadness. My family members do not listen to Lana Del Rey. Now I'm talking about extended family. That summer that song came out, you know what 2 songs were on the radio back to back to back to back to back that we kept getting yelled at for listening to? The Way by Ariana Grande and Mac Miller, and Summertime Sadness by Lana Del Rey. Summertime Sadness hardly talks about any of the stuff that the other songs in Born to Die discusses, which is why I think that it blew up a little bit more, because she played, the song is safe. The song is literally safe. So I don't know what she expects by discussing taboo subjects and not being mainstream and getting a #1. I don't know what she expects, because you can't talk about taboo subjects and expect to be #1, because not everybody can listen to your music, and that's not marketable. But the bottom line to me, that I feel like she has a problem with, is this whole #1 thing. I don't know what's going on in the most recent times where people are so obsessed with the Billboard and going #1 when they should just be focused on their fans, and the fact that they like their music and they're streaming and they're putting money in their pockets, because again, that's just the bottom line of it. But yeah, if you want your #1, maybe you need to put out a popcorn 1, 2, 3 ABC song so that you can just get it and get that little popcorn 1, 2, 3 ABC fan base to listen to your other stuff, and then you can start putting out other stuff, and then you have that new fan base that'll listen to your new stuff and possibly your old stuff and get you your #1 in your streams and that you're looking for. I mean, but not only that, I feel like this is a slap in the face to her fans, like this whole statement, because you have a whole fan base and people that are caping for you in this whole statement, which is completely idiotic. I don't understand that. But when I saw her at Camp Flogna in 2017, she changed the lyrics to something more explicit than what it was, and I'm going to see if I can pull the video up. And the crowd went nuts. Like, the crowd went absolutely nuts. So why are you coming at us as your fans for not and we're the ones accepting your music for the way that it is, and even when you make it more vulgar than it's supposed to be, You should be coming at the execs and the people that you want your song to go. Like, why are you coming at us? Like, we can only do so much. We can only do so much to make your music go #1. You have people, you have the money, you have the assets to have someone put together a track for you that'll make you go #1. Not only that, girl, you were nominated for Album of the Year. Granted, I didn't listen to the album, but you were nominated for Album of the Year. A Grammy. Album of the Year. I'm trying to understand what more accolades she wants. Why do people want a #1 on Billboard so bad? Why do they want it? They can't just settle for a top 10. Summertime Sadness was the song of the summer. They had all kind of remixes. It was literally getting played and played and played. And I literally just recently went back to her music and started streaming her old stuff because I'm like, wow, this brings me back to a good time. But I'm like, wow, I remember this was really big at the time. Anyway, let's move on. I can literally talk about this for a really long time. So it says, anyways, none of this has anything to do with, that was terrible. Anyways, none of this has anything to do about such, but, okay. Anyways, none of this has anything to do about much, but it'll be detailing one of my feelings in 2 books of poetry. Anyway, skipping that. So when I went on her Instagram to actually look at the post, because I followed her, but I just recently unfollowed her because I'm like, if I'm going to be subjected to posts like this on my timeline, I'm very specific about who I follow and what I want to see down my timeline. So I'm like, I don't want to see this type of stuff down my timeline. So yes, I unfollowed Lana Del Rey. But when I went to her page, I follow Ariana Grande and I follow Nicki Minaj. They both follow her. Not only that, I'm just like, that block button is about to come real swift after this. But apparently Ariana Grande had reached out to Lana Del Rey in private because Ariana Grande is just that type of girl, okay? And I'm pretty sure Ariana Grande was very respectful and very just like letting her know, like, what the heck is this? What's up? I don't know what she said to her, but Lana Del Rey addressed it. And Lana Del Rey actually ended up unfollowing Ariana Grande as of today that I'm making this video. Today's Friday. And she says she posts again, which is a notes app, apology, but not really. It's a Google Doc in the typewriter font, size 14. It says a couple of notes on my controversial post, because that's in quotation. That's not controversial at all. All right. Despite the feedback I've heard from several people that I mentioned in a complimentary way, whether it be Ariana Grande or Doja Cat. Okay, so Ariana and Doja Cat has reached out to her, or maybe some other people that she has not mentioned. She says, I want to say that I remain firm in my clarity and stance in that what I'm writing about was the importance of self-advocacy for the more delicate and often dismissed softer female personality, and that there does have to be room for that type in what will inevitably become a new wave, third wave of feminism that is rapidly approaching. Watch! ! That's my thing. It's like, it's giving me very 𝘀𝘻 Smollett, I think his name was, in creating a problem that didn't exist and making yourself the head advocate for something that people that don't have a voice have been fighting for since the dawn of time, which is never going to work out because, for one, that's very egotistical and the narcissism is literally jumping out. There is not going to be a new wave or third wave of feminism because every single part of feminism has already been covered. The part that you're trying to pave a way for has already been paved. So all you got to do is get on your bike and ride down the pavement. Like, I don't know what she wants. Like, what you're fighting for has already been fought for and is currently being fought for. And the softer female personality is, in some cases, people might think are the default woman persona. That way has already been paved because that is the default for many. If anything, I feel like a Doja Cat or a Meg Thee Stallion are the ones paving a new wave because those are the ones that misogynists don't like. You know what I'm saying? It like the female persona that you're trying to glorify are what men that are misogynists look for in women, which is the impressionable woman. So I get trying to fight for that, but you're not creating a new third wave lane. You feel me? Okay. So she says, perhaps I could have given more context to my post by mentioning the title of the second book that would be out next March, called Behind the Iron Gates: Insights of an Institution. I'm sorry that the folks who I can only assume are super Trump Pence supporters or hyper liberals or flip-flopping headline grabber critics can't read, okay, and want to make it a race war. So now we're illiterate and now we're making things about race, when she mentioned, I would say about 5 out of 7 of the people that she mentioned were Black women. Okay. And the fact that it's just so, the lack of self-awareness is just nuts to me, because it's like, you can't just say stuff like this and expect not to have backlash when you just named all Black women practically. We're not making this a race war, and it's giving me very Elena from Little Fires Everywhere, which is why I'm just like, Lana Del Rey, you're going lower. Like so she says, when in fact the issue was with female critics and female alternative artists who are dissociated from their own fragility and sexuality and berate from sexually liberated artists like myself and women I mentioned. At this time today, Billie Eilish swept the Grammys. She literally swept the Grammys. Like, I mean, mopped the floor with everybody that was there, okay? So Billie Eilish was also a minor for the majority of her career, so was not able to speak about sexuality and stuff like that, and in fact she strays away from that portion, and she's number 1, even though weird people have been trying to push her to do that. So the fact that she's trying to fight to be more sexual in her music is a little bit weird, because for one, sex sells, and so does nostalgia, which Disney Plus is a horrible example of that, because the nostalgia is not doing them very well in the most recent times. Anyway, that's so off topic, but yeah, sex sells and so does nostalgia. So the fact that she's trying to fight to be more sexual in her music is a bit strange, because that will literally guarantee you sales and attention. So it says, okay, it continues on to say, but in truth, making it about race says much more about you than it does about me. You want the drama. You want to believe that a woman could be beautiful, strong, and fragile at the same time. All right. So the fact that we're making it about race says more about us than it does about her, and then continues on to say a woman can be beautiful when she's a white woman and she's already the default standard for beautiful. Okay, strong and fragile at the same time, loving and all-inclusive by making personal reparations simply for the joy of doing it. She's typing this out in one go, and you can very much tell by the grammar and the spelling mistakes. So it says, nothing new here in your reaction. Same as 10 years ago when a million think pieces came out about me feigning emotional fragility or lying about coming from no money when it was the truth. My aim and my message are clear, that I have control of my own story. If the women I mentioned don't want to be associated with me, that's absolutely fine by me. And I think that this is where she's getting annoyed, is because she has aligned herself with the culture that she has mentioned in the beginning, that she feels like she would not ever be under scrutiny from them, and that she felt comfortable enough to be in her lane and actually mention the women that she mentioned, and actually thought that she could even say question for the culture or mention or question the culture. Like, ma'am, you're stepping out of your lane here. You're stepping well out of your lane. But it kind of puts me into perspective. I think it was the national anthem video that the love interest in there was A$AP Rocky. A$AP Rocky is not one to be an ally for Black people, as we have seen in many ways. So the fact that it's very telling that a woman who is associated with people like A$AP Rocky feels that we're making this about race, and that she feels like it's not about race. And another thing that I would like to mention has to do with the culture. And by the culture, I mean the culture of witchcraft. Now, as of today, with me recording this video, Doja Cat is under fire, and rightfully so, because of the things that came out. And I'm pretty sure Doja Cat will not be making a statement about this, and she'll probably very much deflect and make some type of weird joke or post some type of weird picture because of the stuff that's happening right now. But Lana Del Rey is a white woman, and witchcraft was hijacked by white people. And sometimes people just like to get into things for aesthetic reasons, and I mean, I get it, but I don't. So I would just like to formally ask people to stop aligning Lana Del Rey with witchcraft and like she's some type of supreme witch one. Like, please stop. It's very cringy, and
something about this doesn't sit right in my spirit.
Okay, you guys need to stop dabbling in things that you don't understand, all right? And that's where I'm gonna stop there. Also, Lana Del Rey has recently dated a cop. Like, this was around the Grammy times, which is not too long ago. I mean, I'm not gonna go into any further with that, but it's getting very Elena Little Fires Everywhere to me. You get what I'm saying? If you've seen that show, you know what I'm talking. It's getting very much that, all right? Not only that, as I've mentioned, she has collabed with Ariana Grande and Miley Cyrus, and the song is literally called Don't Call Me Angel. So I would assume that they have the same ideals in what they're fighting for, you know what I'm saying? So it's a little bit weird to me that she would mention people like Ariana Grande. It's just very weird that she mentioned any of the people that she mentioned when she could have just left their names out of it. And she probably would have been under a little bit of fire for this, but not. But one thing you can't do, one thing you cannot do, and this goes for anybody that thinks that they are about to do it, you cannot come for Black people, because Black Twitter will make this bigger than what it is. I'm not saying they made it bigger than what it is, but they sure are dragging it along, and they're going to drag it along, and they're going to make jokes, and you're not going to be able to sleep well, and you're just going to keep making posts because you don't want to seem like you're a racist. But ma'am, the microaggressions in all of these posts are very apparent, and they're going to be called out. And it is not a racist job. Not saying she's racist, but it's very tone deaf. This whole thing is very tone deaf. But it's not your job to say whether something is racist or not. You just have to go back and reflect on what you've done or what you've said and be like, why is this person feeling this way? Or why is a multitude of people feeling this way about this statement? Not only that, you can't come for these big name girls like that. We were worried for Nicki Minaj's life when we thought that she came for Beyonce in that Say So remix. If we're worried for Nicki Minaj's career, when Nicki Minaj is Nicki Minaj, and we thought she came for Beyonce, Lana Del Rey, your career is done. Your career is about to be finished. The Hive is coming for you. The Hive, the Bars, the Arianators are coming for you. And so are the Megan Thee Stallion fans, and so are the Doja Cat fans, okay? You cannot do that. You can't name drop and not expect backlash, because just off the principle of that, you're done. You're literally done. Anyway, I'm pretty sure I left so much out because literally this whole thing was just nuts. And I just want to end this video by saying, Lana Del Rey, you need a publicist, okay? You need someone in your ear telling you don't. Okay, Bryson Tiller, do not do stuff like this because you will ruin yourself. Take Daniel Caesar as an example, which he was under fire for similar reasons why you're under fire right now, because you didn't have someone in your ear telling you don't. Anyway, that's where I'm going to finish this video off. Please let me know who you guys want to hear from next, which obviously this stuff happens all the time, so I'll probably just take it upon myself to be like, hey, you need a publicist. But anyway, if you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Please let me know what you think about this whole debacle and this whole situation, because honestly, it's nuts. And I wouldn't say I wouldn't expect this kind of thing to happen with Lana Del Rey, but you know, it was destined to happen, and it kind of shines a flashlight on the type of person that she is. You get what I'm saying? Anyway, make sure you give this video a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys in my next video or in my next You Need a Publicist. Peace.